Welcome in, guys. It is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here tonight to do episode 10 of our Big Blue HoopsCast, and we've got a special guest. All right, guys, welcome back. It's Brad with College SportsCast. We are here tonight to do episode 10 of our Big Blue HoopsCast. I got Hammonds on with me. What's up, John?
What's up, man?
We've got a special guest with us tonight, but before I get to him, real quick, I do want to talk about our Facebook. If you're on Facebook with us tonight, we appreciate you. It's growing tremendously over the last 6 months or so, and we appreciate that. You can help support us by sending stars, or you could subscribe to our channel now, our page, and that is only 99 cents a month, and it does give you your own subscribers chat and a subscribers page as well. So we appreciate you being with us on Facebook and YouTube if you're on YouTube as well. All right. We got a special guest with us, John. You want to introduce who we got?
Yes, Trace Terrell from Cats Coverage. Field of 68. You have a podcast through Field of 68. Thank you for joining us tonight, Trace. It's a pleasure, man.
I'm happy to be on the College SportsCast. I've been seeing y'all from a distance and watching what y'all put on Facebook. That's where I normally catch your all stuff on Facebook. And John, we've interacted with each other for years. Brad, I think we're just kind of meeting. I think you said at one of the media days, but I'm honored to be on here. Y'all are hyping me up way too much, but thank you, thank you. We're all in it for the same thing.
I can tell you from my standpoint. I mean, I started this a little over 2 years ago, and kind of doing my own thing. And to see that somebody like you started from scratch and created Cats Coverage, and I mean, you're pretty good size. I mean, you're not ESPN or nothing like that, but what you've created is pretty impressive, to be honest.
Thank you. I appreciate you all saying that. We're all in it for the same thing, passion-related topic. We just want to talk Kentucky basketball and football, and the day I started, I've not put it down yet. I give it every single day, and gratefully people have attached along to it. So I'm very, very grateful for what it's become, and thank you all for saying that.
Yeah, so I'm sure if you're on with us, I'm sure you know what Cats Coverage is. It's all over. I mean, he's on Twitter and Facebook and all over and posting stuff. Does a great job keeping up with everything. He goes to games. He's posting game nights and he's with the media with games and everything. So check him out if you don't know him. Trace is going to join us here tonight, and we're going to talk about all the things that's happened in Kentucky basketball over the next 45 minutes, 30 minutes or so. Let's get started. Let's go back to last week. We do these shows on Mondays. Last week, we were kind of leading up to the Tennessee game. And, let's start with the Tennessee game. I don't have my topics in tonight, but let's start with the Tennessee game. And let's talk a little bit about the win on the road in Knoxville, the third win in a row down in Knoxville. Trace, was you surprised how we played down in Knoxville?
I want to say yes. I didn't think we had much of a shot going into it, but we've won 3 in a row down there. And I think it's been 3 of the last 5, if I'm not mistaken. We're on a little streak down in Knoxville, the orange Rocky Top. So you might want to paint that rock down there blue, because we're kind of taking knock over down there. It was an impressive win, especially just, without Lamont Butler. I didn't think we had a shot. Jackson Robinson finally showed up in a big game. I know he struggled with that at the beginning of the year, the big game moments, but they all played great. Kobe Bryant played great, and what the pieces that they had, they made do with it. And gutsy win, a huge win. I mean, at number 8 Tennessee in the SEC, I mean, there's nothing guaranteed in the SEC, and you go win at a top 10 team in their home arena. That was huge, huge.
Let me ask you a question because I saw this today. Did Tennessee move up in the AP poll?
I think they did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did if I remember correctly.
What? I'm lost.
The only thing I can say about that is if you want to make a case for them is because if you lose to Kentucky, it's not considered a bad loss. Kind of like ours with Alabama. When we lost to Alabama, it did nothing to our resume.
You can't lose and move up 4 spots. That doesn't make sense. Come on.
Well, and I think some of it too had to do with the fact they beat Florida too. Florida was ranked in the top 5, and
they still lost on their home floor to us.
Well, think about it like this.
I get it.
Their loss was not on paper. It's not considered a bad loss, but their win, they beat them by 20. They absolutely destroyed them. So in a way, you got a neutral loss and a great win. I guess I'm not taking. Trust me, I'm not taking up.
I still think it should even itself out. It shouldn't go way up here. I think it should even itself out. They maybe stay where they were or something, but I just don't see the move up. But anyway, that's
not taking up for the orange team. I'm not. Trust me.
I can't see it, man. I was like, that can't be right. I thought it was somebody else's list. And then I got to look at it and it said AP poll. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, I won't go into all that because John knows there's nothing that I like worse than Tennessee. I'm just being honest. I can't. There's fans that'll say Duke or Louisville, whatever. For me, it's Tennessee.
Well, where are you from? What part of Kentucky? Are you from Kentucky?
I am. I'm from near Bowling Green. Okay.
See, you're a little closer down to that border than I am. I'm up in Frankfurt. Yeah. So growing up, Louisville was the big one. It means more to you.
Yeah, I'm only, I have lived within 7 miles of the Tennessee line before. So, yeah.
That makes sense.
All right. So I had to bring up the win. So we did get a win last week. It was a good win. I'm not gonna poo-poo beating Tennessee. I can tell you that. Anytime we can beat Tennessee, especially in Knoxville, and do it 3 times in a row, take a back seat. That's all I got to say, Tennessee fans. That's all I got to say, because we've owned you the last few years in Knoxville. But we got to get to the game Saturday night. I mean, gosh, all the talk leading up to this game, Trace, was to boo or not to boo or be silent. Or I was so sick of it by the time the tip-off started that it was just nauseating to me, to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you what I think this game was about. This game, for me, what I think this game was about legacies. That's what I think this game was about.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's totally about, it surrounds the former coach, John Calipari, from the far perspective of people who aren't Kentucky fans, aren't Arkansas fans, you just college basketball fans from a distance. They're like, oh, y'all kicked Calipari out, you pushed him off. And that's not really, I don't think what it is. In my opinion, the game has passed him. It was time for him to go. And I said this about halftime. I put out a post. I was like, when we were down 1 at halftime, if you lose this game, well, let me backtrack. So when we circled this game back in August, like, oh, here comes February, that game far down the road, it was a big deal at that point because, we didn't know what was going to happen with the 2 programs. Did we make the right decision? Like, none of that was performed yet. It was all just kind of the season hadn't started yet. So at that time, if you lost to Arkansas, it's like you could just see the narrative of like you pushed that coach out, but he came back and beat y'all. Y'all got rid of a good one. As the years went on, and you see how the 2 teams have performed, I put out a post there in halftime. I'm like, if you lose to Arkansas, like, yeah, you don't want to. That's really, really embarrassing. But like, that's not going to change the fact that we still made the right decision, that this team is better on paper. Well, let's go see who's going farther in March. And I feel confident we got the better coach, especially for long term. So like, yeah, it's embarrassing and they're the winners for that game, but they're just going to celebrate until Sunday night. Come Monday morning, just come today, they're back to the awful Arkansas program that they are. And we're back to Kentucky basketball where we have a chance to have a postseason. They don't.
Yeah. But I got to listen. So I think that win for them the Saturday night may change things for them.
But they'll just be on the
I
bubble.
think,
bubble.
yeah, but I think we may have allowed them to find something on the floor that's going to work for them.
Yeah, they shot out of their mind though. I mean, I'm not going to bank on them performing that way the rest of the year.
Yeah, they had a 12-2 run coming out of halftime. I think Wagner hit a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Knox had a big dunk, and I think we called a timeout.
I see one more tweet that Wagner looked like D Rose. Wagner and Pimple on D Rose's, you know what?
Yeah, and them beating Kentucky, I mean, it's gonna put them on that bubble when they were almost gonna miss it anyways. But like, I mean, is any of us predicting them to do anything in March? Like, I let them make the tournament. I'm not worried about it at all.
I mean, and they knocked down, what was it, 13 three-pointers? That was their second most in the game all year.
I think they started off
5, and they averaged 5, by the way.
There you go.
The biggest thing was the guard play, how they just drove at Kentucky. I think they had 17 assists. Wagner just did whatever he wanted to do.
Well, they shot 70%. You're not going to beat too many teams when you allow them to shoot 70%. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, DJ Wagner, Big Z. I mean, Adu the era. I knew we wouldn't have no match for him, and he finished with, I believe, like 21. I think he's their best player, and that's not the popular take, but he's the guy that like a lot of teams have a hard time handling. And I remember when Adu the era was getting backup point guard minutes, they had him at point guard at Kentucky, and like you could tell the signs this guy was going to be somebody one day, and now he's averaging 18 points a game.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm not going to say anything bad about Adu. I won't say anything bad about Big Z. DJ, I mean, listen, I just don't think he's that great of a player. I think that he has some moments, and he had one of those in the second half the other night. First half, he had a goose egg. He had as many points as I did. And I'm sitting on the couch.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think DJ Wagner is that good of a player. He was a McDonald's All-American. Now he's in his second year of college basketball. I mean, he's done something wrong along the way.
Yeah.
I tell you what really confounded me was some of the lineup and substitution patterns. You know, Kentucky went out, what was it, Tress? 18-12.
18-12, yeah.
Calipari caught a timeout, and then when we come back to the floor, Pope had jerked out maybe two of the guys.
Almanar was one of them that he took out, and I said it at the time. Why is he taking him out after he just hit a 3 and going to the free throw line?
Which I get from the standpoint that Lamont Butler's out, and you gotta kind of maneuver with the way the point guard play is. But to me, I just think they should play these guys until they're gassed and give these guys a couple breaks here and there, like
especially when you've got 2 or 3 players out and your bench is shorter. I mean,
I will say it wouldn't really matter, Brad. The defense was just horrific. It was just bad.
It was. I mean, that's plain and simple. That's what got us beat was the defense. It wasn't the refs and it wasn't a bunch of other things. It was the defense. They
couldn't stop. It seemed like that every time Kentucky made a bucket, Arkansas came down and hit another. We was trading baskets.
We would have had trouble guarding the fence post.
That's what's beat us all year, our defense. And for a while it was getting out rebounded, but we finally started getting back in that category. But like turnovers, being our roster's not that deep right now with these injuries. We're missing 2 starters. Well, Andrew Carr, he's kind of coming back. He's had that back issue, so he's not going to be out for the long term. Butler is. It doesn't seem like any time Butler is going to be back. Like it's going to be a few weeks at least. And they don't even know if Kerr's coming back this year. And he was like that 6th, 7th guy as well. So,
at this point, I don't think he is.
Yeah, you're missing a lot of valuable pieces, and your defense. If you can go score 100 points and you give up 98, what's the point? I've said that about the last year's team, but we were harping on that team all year long, and it's kind of a little bit like this team as well.
But so we was talking about bench play and that kind of stuff. I got to ask you a straight question, man. Why is Trent Noah not getting more playing time? When he is on the floor, he's producing.
Yeah.
And playing well.
Yeah, I think just the only thing with him is, we asked Mark Pope in the press conference, and he didn't have an answer for him. He said his somewhat of an answer was when with Ainsley Allmer playing so well, it's hard to find a role for him. And when he comes in, he's going to give you that effort and that he's kind of solid for his height. He's going to bang with
a hustle. He's going to get some rebounds. He's going to get some loose balls.
Some of them are 5 or 6 inches taller than him. It's just I just don't. Listen, I like him just as much as you do, and Travis Perry, but I just don't think he was good enough to be in that game. I understood it.
Well, see, my thing is this, Trace. I think he's playing better than Chandler and Travis Perry. And it's not even close when he's on the floor.
I think the reason why Travis Perry plays so much is because he's being forced to with Butler out and Kerr out. Because, all these minutes that we've had over the last 2 months for Travis Perry, those would have been Kerr Krisos if he was not injured. Yeah. Now with Lamont Butler, it's just our only point guard options are Jackson Robinson and Travis Perry. So Travis Perry has kind of got it like, hey, here's a big open role for you. I think that's the case why he's playing so
apparently
much.
Amari Williams is a point guard.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're doing the Vandy thing. We're just going to list them all point guards from now on.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and to speak on what you said about Amari Williams, to me, he was the only one that was doing anything Saturday. He was trying to fight to get them back in the game. Now you had a couple guys hit a couple shots like Jackson and Ainsley, and there was a few others.
I just don't agree with that, Greg. By the way, I mean,
I think Otega Oweh had a really bad game.
He plays better than Chandler, and he plays better than Perry, in my opinion. I think by far of those three, Trent Noah should be playing first. He's proved it when he's in.
Don't you think, Trez, that, I felt like Otega was trying to play too much hero ball. He was trying to force too many shots when the game was down, 5 or 6, and it just felt like he was trying to do too much.
Yeah, I guess I could see why he was trying to take that role. He's our leading scorer, but I think he just, he had to do the arrow on him the whole night. Their best guys were on Otega, and then Jackson Robinson probably got their second best defenders. But I think just, how many times did Otega fall on the floor? I think he was just getting beat up, and I don't know if he's as physical as those guys. I mean, he is one of our most physical players, but a dude, the arrow is a tank, and he can jump with the best with them. He can run with the best with them. He's longer than the rest of them. Yeah. He just had a little bit of a mismatch in somewhat.
And that's part of the reason why I say that I think they found something. We let them come into our house and find something because, let's be honest, they do have some talent. They just haven't figured out how to put it together this year.
I think they have a lot of individual talent, but that's what we've seen with Cal teams over the years. And if he puts it together, that's always a big question mark.
Right. Yeah. All right. So I got to ask, where do we go from here? And I'm going to add something to that. Trace, we're 5-5 in the last 10 games. No. We are 5-5 in the last 10 games.
Super inconsistent. I think what we need to do is we got to get healthy. I mean, we're without our starting point guard and our starting center, Andrew Carr, is when he's been playing 10 minutes a game and he's not doing anything out there. He's so limited. I mean, anyone who's ever had back problems, it ain't like your pinky hurts where you can forget about it. Your whole body is not working, and so we're just hurt, and that's no excuse.
Well, one day you can wake up and you feel fine, and the next day you wake up and your back you feel like you can't even get out of the bed. There's ways that they're trying to fix this and handle this. Now, I did see a report tonight. I don't know. Apparently, I don't want to say this out loud, but there's somebody that takes paywall information. Trez knows what I'm talking about and puts it on Twitter. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They go out and they put Jack Pilgrim stuff out. But apparently there was a good report tonight.
I think I know who you're talking about as well.
You know who I'm talking about. I can't think of the Twitter handle, but Jack Pilgrim puts out stuff and it gets leaked onto X a lot of times. But apparently Butler is fighting to get back, and they think that he's going to be able to play, but they don't know exactly when. They said that I don't know if it was cleared or if I don't know. It was a good update, though, on Lamont Butler. So apparently he's going to try to play here in a couple of weeks. If that's the case, when we lose a few games, though, I would rather be safe than sorry and actually have a healthy team instead of being.
Robert, I'm hearing, and I'll ask Trace here in just a second, but I'm hearing he could be out at least 2 weeks more.
Yeah, I think definitely. Mark Pope said on Saturday night, he looked right at the media and said, "We just don't know. We just have no answer for you." Almost those exact words. That was just Saturday night.
Right.
I think it's going to be the long term. And then, his dad was retweeting stuff. We'll save him out for March and all this stuff. I don't think we can bank on him at least for another month. And that's just not.
You think it's going to be a month? Wow.
I think it could easily be a month. Easily. That's just a guess.
It's a shoulder issue. I think it's at least going to be 2 weeks. Trace, if you're right and it's a month, we're talking the 1st of March. And I mean, what's our record? How are we gonna manage going through February if Butler is out a month?
You're just going to have to fight. That's what I said yesterday. Like I was talking to a person yesterday. You're just going to have to fight through some of these games, and you got one coming up Tuesday night. Ole Miss ain't going to give nothing easy to you. They're really
at their place. It's going to be a tough game.
Going to be tough. Now, I will say, Trace, you can back me up on this. You can't afford to lose Saturday. South Carolina coming to town. You got to take advantage of that. Like, you cannot lose this game. Now, you can probably end up losing Ole Miss, but you can't come home and lose to South Carolina with Tennessee on deck Tuesday night. Like, there's no way you can do that.
If you do,
the next 3 games is at Ole Miss, South Carolina, and then we get Tennessee back at home.
And then you go to Texas on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. And if we're playing without Butler and Carr's still not healthy, and I don't see Carissa coming back anytime soon, if at all, to be honest.
Well, and here's the thing, Trace. Kentucky's shown that they can win without Butler, okay? They beat Gonzaga and Seattle. But the problem is the winning consistently.
Here, we got Matt Jones with us.
That ain't the same one, I don't think.
Okay, I had to
we're putting, we're trying to put 2 to 3 games consistently together, and that's tough without your point guard. Now, you might go a spurt, you beat a Tennessee like that, and then end up losing the next game, where you come back and you win another. But the consistency without Butler is where we're struggling. Like, you got to have a consistent thing. Without Butler, it's tough.
Yeah, because all you got is Jackson Robinson and Travis Perry. Travis Perry, he's trying to make the most of his minutes, but he's not a starting SEC point guard right now. Jackson Robinson don't want to play point guard, but he's being forced to. It's just we're just making do with what we have.
Trace, to be honest with you, I actually think that Jackson Robinson has played the best for us this year when he has played the point guard.
Yeah, I think it makes him more aggressive. I think the same as what we saw with Kobe Brea. I think it was at Tennessee. I think when he was like either starting or first guy off the bench, something like that, they're like, okay, the reps are mine tonight. They want me to be aggressive, and I think just that mindset switch, it helps you play better. I mean, if you're just more aggressive.
I actually think his NBA stock and everything is going to rise because he's playing point guard, and he looks so much better.
Here's the thing, too. He made a statement. Mark Pope did. Trace was there, I think. He was talking about the rotations. He said, I'm just trying to figure this out. He said, he subbed one of the 3 guards out. There was a high intensity game. It was a little slower pace. He said, I thought maybe we could withstand it, but apparently he didn't realize that without those guys in there that they could not withstand that surge, because when they was firing, like you looked at what was Amoore hit a big 3, Robinson hit a big 3. I think Kobe Brea
has been playing great. That's one guy that I wanted to talk about. I think he's been playing fantastic when he's in there.
Yeah, he's playing really, really well.
Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing from Amari Williams, if I'm being honest. He just had another 22-11 game. I mean,
I am too.
Putting him right up under.
I actually wanted to mention this to you. So it seems like online on social media that Amari Williams sometimes takes a beating from the fans. And, like, I actually think since Butler has been hurt, I think Amari Williams might be our best player.
He brings value to the team that no one else really can, but I'm still riding with. I said this after maybe a game or two after the Clemson game. I said at the time, Lamont Butler is our most important player. Otega is our best player. And then at the time that was the Jackson Robinson debate. I didn't think he was the guy. I think Otega always our most all-around player, but Amari Williams brings you something that really only Brandon Garrison can come a half of that in terms of what.
Yeah, but if you look at the last 2 to 3 ball games, if you look at the plus minus when Amari Williams is on the floor, it's undeniable. Amari, even the other night, we were much better when Amari Williams was on the floor.
But the problem you got, though, without Butler, is you got to stop teams from getting back in transition. And Butler could at least stop that a little bit. Like the guard, like Saturday night, Butler would have been great because Wagner wouldn't be able to do some of those drives. There's where we're having the issue is these guys ain't quick enough for some of these athletic guards, and they're getting eat off the dribble.
Now, Ole Miss, always nearly as good defensively as Butler is.
Now, I will say this: Ole Miss is good. Trace will probably tell you a little bit more than I can, but Ole Miss probably ain't as athletic as Arkansas, but they still get up in your grill and they play basketball. They're not a great shooting team. Now, they played good against Auburn Saturday, I thought. But this is a game that's winnable. Let's be honest. Now, it's going to be a tough environment to Pavilion, but it's a winnable game. It's not. I don't think they'll blow us out if that's what everybody's thinking. I don't think it's going to be. I think
Trace, I got to ask you about this, talking about the Ole Miss game. So the odds come out, the betting odds come out today, and we are the underdog in this game. I got to ask you, every single game that we've been the underdog in so far this year, we have won. Do you think that continues tomorrow night at Ole Miss?
If you're making me pick right now, I do. And without having our star point guard, I still think at Ole Miss, they're getting some points because it's at home. That gives you 2 to 3, 4 points on the spread, no matter what, if you're the home team. But it's not going to be an easy win. It's actually going to be really, really hard to win. But I feel like we do. Again, it's like this team's so weird. You win the harder games. I mean, this is not the hardest game we played, but they're still in the top 25, and it's at their home court. But then we lose to the worst teams. I think we just get up for those moments, and I'm picking a win. I think we're going to win in single digits, but I think we're winning, and I think it's going to be.
And that's where my issue is with this team, to be quite honest with you, is we are winning the games that are big games and games that we are picked, like odds-wise, to be the underdog. We're winning all them, but it's the games that we are playing against unranked opponents that's killing us, absolutely killing this team.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And I tell you, you look at them from a defensive efficiency standpoint. Tennessee was ranked number 1, right? I think I can't even remember what Ole Miss was. I think
Tennessee was number 1. Yeah, defensively.
I think they're maybe 10, maybe. No, 11. They're 11th defense in the country. So if we can score and space the floor against Tennessee, I think we can do the same against Ole Miss. But here's the thing that I want to kind of get re-involved into Kentucky. I want them tomorrow night. I don't want them to think on all this Arkansas stuff. It's probably in the back of their mind right now where they lost that game. I just want to see them play pissed off.
No.
Just get mad. I mean, me and Brad had this conversation Saturday about the Mamba mentality with Kobe Bryant.
That's where I've been about this whole Arkansas.
He ran right through his friend Paul Gasol. and he's his own teammate. He ran right through him and about killed him. Well, not really killed him, but he basically just knocked him really hard to the floor. That's his own teammate.
Mm. Yeah.
Now, and I'm saying this from a Kentucky standpoint, go in there, don't let the pressure get to you, and just play like you're mad at the world.
That's
Play like
what was
Arkansas.
on me.
Play like
about the
Arkansas
whole
did
boo,
Saturday night.
not boo. It's going to make us look bad and all this other horse crap, man. I got Mamba mentality, and that's just all. I've been playing ball and sports for a long time, and I'm not going to do any of this weak stuff. I'm just not going to. I can't do it now. I mean, I told John the other day, in the NBA Finals, they asked Kobe. Kobe had one where they were up 2-0. They asked Kobe, why aren't you smiling? You're up 2-0 in the NBA Finals. Why aren't you smiling? Kobe looked dead at the camera and said, "Is the job finished?"
Yeah, I mean, basically, you got to continue to wilt your way into these games, fight. Right now would be a good time for a Kentucky winning streak going into Tennessee. Beat Ole Miss, beat South Carolina, and get the fans kind of, wouldn't say back on your side, but get them a little bit.
Supposed to happen the other night. We supposed to maybe
positivity.
get these, and we could have had a 4-game win streak heading to Tennessee in a week. And we could have.
Just laid a big egg, basically. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah. Well, see, Arkansas had nothing to lose. I mean, they knew they were the worst team. They're going back to that same worst program today, but they had nothing to lose, and they all bought in for their coach. And it was in terms of effort, and it didn't matter about the talent. It didn't matter about the percentage they shot all year. It mattered about that one ball game. And I think the Arkansas players that had 3 former UK players, they wanted it more than this team that we have that have nothing to do with the Cal-Kentucky debate. They're just here at Kentucky.
I'll tell you what, the reason I'm saying legacy game is this. I think that loss will follow Pope around for a while. Letting Cal come in, the ex-Hall of Fame coach that many people thought was washed up. Let's be honest.
I'm thinking he still is.
There's a lot of people who thought he was washed up. To let him come in to our house with our players, and the entire coaching staff that was sitting on that bench was on the Kentucky staff last year, except for Kenny Payne. All right. Everybody that's sitting over there sat and wore the blue last year. All right. There was a point in that game, and I'll be honest with you, y'all have no idea. I was so angry at this game. There was a point in this game, late in the game, where they were blowing it out and got it up to a 14-point lead, and they had all 5 players would have been wearing blue and white if Calipari was still at Kentucky. And they came to our house and whipped us. That, I don't know, for me, it's hard to get over, man. That's hard to get over.
I'll say this.
I got to ask you this, Trace. Do you think the national media and the pundits and personalities, do you think that they're going to be talking about this all season, right?
To me, Arkansas winning wasn't as crazy as it didn't shock me. And this is going to sound biased, but I still, to this day, even though we just got beat by that team, I still think we're the better team. I think we have the better program. We're going to have the better postseason and better overall season besides this one day of the college basketball season, just this one game. But like you play these two teams 10 times together, I think we win 6 or 7. Now you want to win all 10, and there's the emotion that's around it. But like Brad, John, I got to ask you both. Yeah, we just got beat by Cal and Arkansas. They came in on our home court and did it. But like, would you trade these programs? Do you want Arkansas's roster or their coach for what we have? Like, would you trade it at all? There's not a chance in this world I would take what they have versus what we have.
I mean, my answer to that is no, because I wanted Cal gone 2 years ago. I'm not going to lie. John knows that.
Yeah. It doesn't shock me as many people. It didn't shock me that happened. I mean, Cal's won the second most games in Rupp Arena. This fan base, he's used to that home crowd. Like, that stuff don't bother him. It ain't like his first rodeo. He knows it on any other coach in college basketball outside of Mark Pope. I mean, it doesn't shock me at all. I thought they had a solid chance of winning, and I didn't think at all we were going to be we were a 10-point favorite. I didn't think at all we'd win this game by 10 points.
Rachel chimes in with hell no.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that to back up on the Arkansas thing. Me and Brad talked about this before we come on. I think the number thing that we need to focus on here is if we get another opportunity at Arkansas. We play them in the SEC tournament, and they're playing for their bubble lives, and we knock them out of the tournament and a chance to get into the tournament.
Then you might make up for that loss.
I think it will make up for the situation that Pope went through Saturday night.
All right, because Tracy's got to go. He's got a show on his own here in just a few minutes. But before you go, I've got to ask you, what was your thoughts? What is your opinion about Reed Sheppard in the Arkansas shirt? I got to ask you because I have a strong opinion about it.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you what yours is.
Brad, listen, I'm from Kentucky too. I wanted to be Reed Sheppard when I was a child. Kid made a mistake. Absolutely made a mistake. I don't think he thought that one through. I know he didn't think that one through. They asked him after that. He said he thought it was funny. And his comments, he was like, well, I've got 3 former teammates that are on there. All those, that's my former staff, head coach.
I hear it all.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away that his mother and father played at Kentucky and that he is from Kentucky.
Yeah. And he said, I'm just supporting my coach. But, like, here's the thing. I put out a thing on Twitter as well. If you're going to do anything, here's the chances of him having success with his pregame fit. The first one was to wear all UK. That's your best chance of success. That's what I would have done if I was him. The second one is to stay neutral and do nothing with no Arkansas or UK. Stay out of it. No one needs really your pregame fit to make a statement. The third one would be to have UK shirt and Arkansas shorts. The fourth one is what he did, and he did number 4. That was a mistake, and I know he's going to regret that. I don't think he just thought that one through, and it's like he did it to support his coach and his school, but, like, we know you support your coach already. We know you support Kentucky. Like, you think Kentucky fans are going to want to see Arkansas across your chest? Not a chance. It was a mistake.
Here's my thing, Trace. It's way different. We're seeing a lot of former Calipari players come out in support of him and his win on Saturday. But here's what I want to say. Reed Sheppard, it's different.
Yeah, it is.
It's different. It's different for you, man. You are from the foothills of Eastern Kentucky. It's different for you, man. You ought to know better.
Well, and to add to that real quick, you was talking about the other players. Can't think. Ty Washington was on there.
PJ Washington.
He made a comment.
There's been some players.
He made a comment, and today a Kentucky fan made a mixtape of him playing in the G League. They was making jokes at Ty, and I thought this is going to turn ugly in a way because a lot of the fans are turning against these players, and it's just going to be an ugly situation.
I don't have an issue with the other players supporting. And I don't really have an issue with Reed supporting Calipari and his former coach. It is the fact of the day of the game. He comes out with that on. Man, you are from Kentucky, man. You not only are you from Kentucky, you've been born and raised up to bleed blue from your parents who both played here. Yeah. Not only that, your father was the roommate to the current coach.
It was a mistake. It was absolutely. The thing is, he has no tie to Arkansas at all. It's like you want to support Coach Cal. Well, he was at Kentucky when you had your involvement with him. He has no ties to Arkansas besides, I guess, if you want to make the minor case, his former teammates and all that. But, like, Where'd you even get the Arkansas shirt? Did he have to pay money for that? Did he get it from like? It was a mistake. But
apparently,
the kid's 20. You know, we made mistakes when the whole world wasn't watching when we were 22. It was a mistake. We'll move past it one day, but right now it sucks.
Listen. I love the kid. I have. I'm not going to sit here and say that. But man, that was a huge mistake. And I'm glad to hear you say that it was a mistake, to be honest with you.
And talking about those other players, Tata Washington, Jacob Toppin, all those guys, Ashton Hagans, Davion Mintz.
Yeah.
Think about when they were here. They were all here post-COVID. None of them, they didn't have much success here. It wasn't the 4 Final Fours in 5 years, the 38-1 team where it just too good to be true.
I got kind of
amazing time here. You know, they don't love Kentucky. They like Kentucky.
I kind of got tickled on one of the comments. Tata said something.
Thank you, Greg.
About walking, you take over your trap, and some UK fan put on there said, "Yeah, you took it out when you lost to St. Peter's." And I thought, you know what, man?
That was the thing they used to say all season long, walking your trap, taking over your trap. It's a song. Well, the thing is, the trap that they took over, that's his trap. Kentucky's your trap. Like, you're saying somebody just came in and took over your own trap. Like, I don't understand that from Tata.
Yeah. I had to throw that in there before you go. I know you've got your own show here in just about 10 minutes or so. So we got to let Trace go. But, man, we appreciate you being here and being with us. Cats Coverage, that's where he's from. That's what he's doing. He also has the podcast on Field of 68, the Kentucky podcast on the Field of 68.
Brad, John, thank you all for having me. I appreciate y'all. I've been seeing y'all stuff. Y'all are doing great, and I'm honored to be on here. I'm happy to. I love, same for you all. I can't get enough talking Kentucky basketball, Kentucky football when it's happening. So I'm happy to.
Appreciate it, man.
And we appreciate you, man. I'll put something out and tag you in it and stuff like that. So we appreciate you just being here with us, man.
Thank you all. I'll sign out. Let y'all finish this good show. See you all.
Have a good one, man.
All right. Thanks, Trace. All right, guys. That was Trace Terrell. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Terrell? Yeah. Terrell. Yeah. Listen, you can say that a couple of different ways, but his name is Trace Terrell. He is from Cats Coverage. The most impressive thing is he started that with nothing, no followers, started it from scratch, and has done an excellent job. I mean, that's kind of what we're trying to do here at College SportsCast and with Stadium Rant. So got to throw that in there.
Yep.
All right. I'm trying to read what. Yeah.
I don't even want to get started on that. Let's change.
I'm not even talking about KS. The only thing I talked about for KSR is Matt Jones joined us right here.
Don't think it was the same one, Brad.
Oh, man. Damn. I was hoping it was Matt Jones.
Oh, goodness.
Coming on College Sportscast.
We ain't that lucky, Brad. We're getting there. We ain't that far yet, brother.
Oh, man. I'm so disappointed. Anyways. All right. We're going to move on to the women's. We've talked about the men's basically most of the show here, but we're going to move on to the women's real quick. They had an excellent week. They beat 2 ranked teams this week. I normally do highlights and stuff for them, but I was kind of running behind and didn't get things going and was going to have Trace on as a guest. But, John, early in the week on Thursday night, they took care of business at home and beat 22nd ranked Alabama team with a really good player. I mean, Sarah Barker is a really good player.
Yeah, Barker's good. Yeah, Alabama team has had a really good year. Now
and if you're still with us, there's Matt Jones. That's what I was talking about.
He's a guy from my hometown. Actually, he's a good dude. But, Barker's good. Alabama's had a really good year. Now they've hit a little stretch where they haven't played as good, but they're still a really good team. They're what? I don't even know if they was in the top 25. I hadn't checked today. They might have dropped out. But Alabama's a great team. Then you kind of go over to Oklahoma.
Appreciate it.
And you go to Oklahoma and win, and you win these back-to-back games. They've had a great year. Kenny Brooks is a fantastic coach. He loves coaching his players.
I wanted to bring up Barker because I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but Barker is the daughter. Do you remember Jay Barker?
Jay Barker played at Alabama. Yeah, he's quarterback at Alabama. Quarterback? Yeah.
She is his daughter, Jay Barker's daughter. That's who she is, and that's why she's at Bama as well.
Yep.
But she is a heck of a player.
She is.
Yeah.
Kentucky, I think, shot, 41% from the floor. They had 9 threes, which they only just hit one in the loss to A&M.
Right. But they've been averaging about 9 a game. The A&M thing was a complete fluke.
Fire Strack had a nice game against Alabama, 14 points. She was a force on the board. She had 14 rebounds. Yeah. The biggest thing to me was they held Alabama to 31% from the three. That was a big deal,
I would love to see Kenny be up for Coach of the Year, but I will say this, Shane, there's some pretty tough games coming up. If he can get through some of these games, I think he will have a shot at Coach of the Year.
Here's the thing I love about this Kentucky team. They beat Alabama, they hit the road Sunday, and they beat Oklahoma.
A top 13. They were 13th in the country. They were preseason 6th, I believe.
And now they're off for a whole week, and they can enjoy all this.
Yep. They get a little time off. They have a bye week this week. But I got to talk about last night's win, man. Listen, that's a tough place to play, Norman.
There's a big crowd. There was actually a big crowd there too. So
there was a big crowd. They have a great following for the women's sports. Period. Softball's big down there.
You want to know what's impressive, Brad?
Man,
this team
have a great coach.
This team is 19-2, 8-1 in conference. Okay, they shot 75% from three right out of the gate. From the field, 12 of 16.
Yeah.
It took 11-point lead. Georgia Amoore, I think, had 10 points in the first 10 minutes, I think. Clara Silva played really, really good. Oklahoma entered this game ranked 2nd in rebounding. They did pretty good.
They still did out-rebound us last night.
They did. Night. I think the first quarter is what really done Oklahoma in because they was basically trying to play from behind the rest of the night.
Well, they made one run in the third quarter. I'll tell you, talking about Kenny Brooks. So they made one run in the third quarter last night, John. And they went on an 8-0 run, and they cut it to 1, 46-47. This was in the second half. It was in the third quarter, and you're on their home floor. The crowd's getting into it, and Coach Brooks called a timeout. And in the post game last night, he mentioned that point in the game, and he reminded them of a similar point in the game in that A&M game, and told them that they let go of the rope. And reminded them to not let go of the rope. And coming out of that timeout, they went on a 13-0 run. He set up some plays. He reminded them not to let go of the rope. He set up some plays. They went on a 13-0 run to push the lead back out to 14. And from there, they kind of controlled the game. I mean, Oklahoma late, John, was fouling and trying to get back in it, and things of that nature. And we wound up with a 9-point win.
I'll be honest with you. If it wasn't for Sahara Williams for Oklahoma, this game might not even be close.
Yeah.
She had 27 for Oklahoma last night.
Well, we've talked about it now for about 5 minutes, and we've got to bring up a name, guys. Georgia Amoore last night was fantastic.
Brad, I'm reaching a point where this might be one of the best guards to ever come to Kentucky in the last.
I'm telling you, she played well enough last night. I don't think it's far-fetched to say that she could be a top 5 pick in the WNBA draft.
I'm really close to that, Brad. The things that she can do,
it's amazing.
And the thing about it is, she's not really now. She scores points, but she's really not a scorer. She's more of a distribute the ball.
But she's getting that edge about her here at Kentucky.
And she's picking that, like you said, that edge to score. And now she's just showing off at this point. And doing it in a major way. And I did like the end of the game, like it was the locker room footage, everybody showed it. They was trying to find Georgia Amoore, and they ended up finding her, and they threw the water on her, and she just laid there and played dead for a few minutes. These girls love each other, man. These girls love each other. They play for each other. This is I'm gonna be honest with you, Brad. I've watched Kentucky women for the last 4 or 5 years. Well, maybe even longer than that, maybe 10 years since back to Matthew Mitchell. This is the most fun I've had in a season with Kentucky basketball in quite some time. And that's even going back to Ryan Howard days. A few of those girls that were really, really good.
Claudia Mathis. I mean, there were some good teams.
There were some really good teams. And I wouldn't even put it past it to this might be the best team that I've seen since that time.
Victoria Dunlap. I don't know if you guys remember her in like 2012, 2013.
Dunlap was really, really good.
Yeah.
She knows how to take over a game. She knows how to get her teammates involved. Georgia. Georgia.
And I'm gonna tell you
I'm gonna say this. If you're watching Georgia, you're a PT peer, as Dick Vitale says. You're awesome with a capital A.
She really is, man.
I mean,
she tied the single game scoring points record for Kentucky. She had 43 last night against this Oklahoma team. And I got to say, John, this Oklahoma team had all 5 starters back and added Regan Beers.
Yeah, I mean, they're loaded, man.
Yeah.
And you add the backcourt with Skylar Van and her sister. What's her sister's name? Is it the other Van girl?
They've got 2 of them. They got 2 Scott girls too.
Skylar Van's one of. I can't think of the other one, but and then they got that Verhulst. Verhulst. She's in the backcourt. She had, I think, 11 last night. Reagan Beers had 18. Reagan Beers is one of the best big girls in the country. She's
one of the best big girls in the country. She really is. I mean, she's like 6'6", and just she's big. Like she's physical.
It's just hard to comprehend how great of a season this has been. And, a lot of people, I told people this early in the year, I said I wouldn't be shocked if the women had a better season than the men did.
I told people that, and people thought I was crazy. But right now, it's looking like that might be the case. But now, I will say they end the season with a gauntlet. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. But some of those games now, Brad, to be fair, are at home. They get LSU at home. They get Texas at home.
They get Tennessee at home.
There's some big games at home that they could take advantage of, and And I'm going to say this right now on College SportsCast. And I know everybody's been talking about the whole bracketology, and I think they're being shown no respect when it comes to that.
For the girls? Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think
the girls moved up to 11th today. I'll be honest with you. I think they're at the very least, I think they're the 8th or 9th best team in the country at the very least right now.
I think they're a 2 seed, Brad.
They are. And Charlie Crane had them as a 4 seed yesterday. And I'm like, what in the hell are you watching, dude? Because, like, seriously, there's no chance that this team deserves a 4 seed right now.
Now, if they get one of those high seeds,
if they could somehow beat Texas and beat Tennessee at home, there's an outside chance this team could get a 1 seed. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean it's right there for the taking. And I'm going to say this, and the women's different. The compared to the men's tournament, the top seeds, they get a home game. It's one of the things it's actually one of the things I really love.
First and second rounds are at home.
That and the baseball
top
tournament.
4 seeds.
The baseball tournament, I like the way they bring that together with the baseball too.
Yep.
You get what, 2-3 games at home, 4 games at home.
Yeah.
You get 2 games maybe. Baseball does the same thing. When it comes to regionals and stuff.
The girls get the first 2 rounds are at home, and then they go to a region.
Then they're a region.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be huge for them because they're really, really good at home. And in this crowd, if they do get a NCAA tournament home game, that place needs to be packed.
Oh,
to show
sold out, man. It's got to be sold out for sure. And I can't wait. It's going to be so fun, to be honest with you. I can't wait for it. But let's talk about Ole Miss because that's who they play next. It is next Monday. They have a week off. So next Monday's show is going to be centered. It's probably, if we do a Monday show, it'll probably be a post-game show.
Yeah.
On Monday night next week. It probably won't be at this same time because I think the games on Monday night are at 6 and 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. So we will probably do a post-game show next Monday night after the Ole Miss Kentucky women's game. It's on the road. Ole Miss is, they're 5th in the SEC right now. They're 6-3 in the league. They were preseason like 12 or 13. They had fallen out, and I didn't look today. I don't know if they've climbed back into the AP poll. I don't think they have. I think they're still out.
I'll check real quick. I hadn't had it pulled up.
I didn't know if they got in at the bottom. They're close to getting back in the poll.
No, they didn't. They're like 4 votes away, I think.
How many votes? Because they got votes. I know they did.
They're 30th in the AP poll.
Okay.
Vanderbilt stayed in.
Yeah.
24.
And Alabama.
Alabama stayed at 23. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they go on the road. This Ole Miss team they got KK Deans, who started at Florida for a while, and she's transferred there. They've got Madison Scott. I mean,
Ole Miss gets after you.
They do. They play some defense. They got a really good defensive coach.
Yeah, and they beat Vanderbilt. They almost beat Texas.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be an easy game for Kentucky.
Nope, it's not. Especially on the road.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah,
but I think,
and then that's next Monday night. Next Thursday night, the Texas Longhorns come to Rupp.
That's going to be fun. Oh, is it at Rupp?
So they have a hell of a week next week.
They don't play it at Rupp?
I mean, I said
You mean
Rupp,
Memorial? You
no,
meant Memorial.
I meant Memorial.
You had
Coliseum.
me confused for a minute.
No. Memorial Coliseum. I'm Rupp's. Never mind. It's at Memorial.
I'm going to tell you, Brad, losing to Arkansas has burnt your brain, man.
Yeah, I just said it wrong. But they're playing at Memorial next Thursday night. Right now, the number 4 Texas Longhorns are coming to Memorial next Thursday night. All right, Wireman. I got some for you. I don't regret it at all, and I will do the same thing the next time we play them because I have that same mentality. You're muted, by the way. I can't hear you.
Let me go over the men's poll that come out today real quick. We forgot to do that.
Speaking of that, I honestly cannot believe we stayed at 14.
Well, here's the poll real quick. Auburn stayed 1, Duke 2, Alabama 3, Tennessee 4, 5, Houston.
What? How the hell did Tennessee go from 8 to 4 and got beat?
Buddy,
that's insane.
Apparently, some losses don't mean as much as others. It looks like
that is insane.
Purdue 6 or 4 to 6, 7 Purdue, 8 Iowa State. Now Iowa State dropped a lot. If they lose to Kansas tonight, they might drop completely out of the top 10. 9 was Michigan State, 10 was A&M, 11 was Marquette, 12 was old Rick Pitino. We talked about him Friday night. He's doing.
About him, yeah.
13 was Texas Tech. My God, Brad, what a win in Houston Saturday night for the Red Raiders, man. They're playing.
I told you Texas Tech had been playing pretty well. That's a
14
in Houston.
Yeah, tough. 14 was Kentucky. 15 was Missouri.
I really don't know how, to be honest.
16 was Kansas. 17 was Memphis. 18 was Maryland. 19 UConn. 20 was Arizona. 21 was Wisconsin. 22 was Mississippi State. 23 was Illinois. 24 was Michigan. And 25 was Ole Miss.
All right, John. I'm talking about
Kentucky.
The
reason why Kentucky
Wait a second.
stayed.
I got to bring this point up, and then you can say it. But the reason why I'm telling you about Kentucky is this. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games and have dropped from like 8 to 14. How? I don't get it. If that would have been us last year, we would have fell plumb out of the top 25.
You want to know why they're not falling out like that? Their resume is keeping them afloat.
They're 5-5 in their last 10 games.
I get that, Brad, but them beating Duke and Tennessee and these others are keeping them above ground.
They beat Duke 3 years ago now. That's been forever ago.
I know, but it still holds a lot of weight.
That was 3 years ago.
It still holds a lot of weight, though.
I know, but I'm just messing.
I want to say something real quick while we're on the college SportsCast. I wrote an article today honoring a kid in the state of Kentucky that I've had the privilege to watch. And if people have not been able to go read it, it's on my Facebook. Hallie Collins, really good player from Knox Central. She started her career at North Laurel.
Sickney, Anthony.
Great player, great kid, just a great human on and off the court. She plays the game the right way. She's going to UPike next year to play college ball. She had tons of offers to go D1, but she settled on a team in Kentucky, which is great because, now I get to see her play a little bit. Maybe get over and
catch. Nowadays you can make a name for yourself and transfer. So
that's the thing. So if you get a chance, go read that article on stadium rant. I got another one coming out here in about another 30 minutes. I'm writing about the Ole Miss game. It's just a pregame article I'm going to do real quick.
I got one today that come out this morning. Speaking of articles, go check it out. It's about Georgia Amoore's big night, 43 points.
And yours truly, thank you, Brad, for telling me yesterday. I forgot that I won Writer of the Month. I'm out of those 5 people that won it, and I was one of them. Yeah. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to write. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be with Stadium Rant. And thank you so much to Tyler Lamb and J.C. Kurt and all those at Stadium Rant for allowing me to do this, because this is what I love to do. It's one of my biggest accomplishments, one of my biggest passions. And the fact that I get to write about the game I love is greatly an honor. So thank you very much.
It's been good. We've had a pretty good run.
Even though sometimes I want to rattle your head for wearing tongs and aprons on the show, but
I'm telling you right now, I'm good. I'll do it again. I mean, I'll do it again because that's my mentality.
But Wireman, I'll say this much about Brad: when he puts his mind into doing something, he'll do it, and he ain't afraid to do it either. So I've been around him long enough. I know how he operates a little bit.
Yeah. So John, I ask you before we go, this women's team sitting at 19-2. They are 8-1. They are tied for second place, 1 game behind South Carolina with Texas and LSU, who are both in top 6 or top 7, by the way. Yeah. And Kentucky's down at 11. Do you think that, the schedule gets tough? They got at Ole Miss. They play Texas at home. Then they end the season with Tennessee at home, LSU at home, and at South Carolina. Do you think they can find a couple of wins there? I mean, do you think they can make some real noise and be a 2 seed, 3 seed? Where do you think this team falls?
I think their ceiling is a 2 seed, and I think their floor is probably a 3 seed. If we're being honest,
maybe a 4.
Maybe a 4.
Maybe if they were to lose a bunch of these,
they're probably going to have to win a few road games, like starting with Ole Miss next week. They're going to have to win that one. I think they can get by with losing to Texas, beating maybe Tennessee, maybe upset LSU or South Carolina, one of those. If they could upset Tennessee, and
I'm going to say they're a 3 seed, Wireman, but I think they're going to win a couple of these games. Georgia Amoore is the real deal.
I don't know if he thinks we're talking about men or women.
I'm not sure.
It's women, Wireman, we're talking about. I think if they could knock off maybe somebody like Texas, LSU, they might get on that 2 line.
If they could beat Texas and say Tennessee, I think they might.
Yeah, he was talking about the men. He said that's what I was talking about. We're talking about the women, Wireman. Yeah. I think it's a 2 or 3 seed. Worst they could do is lose 3 or 4 games in a row and get cut down to a 4 seed. But where their record
I think now their floor is probably a 4 seed, and that's losing most of these.
Because they're probably playing for a bye in the SEC tournament.
They're playing for a double bye. Right now they're in double bye position. You got South Carolina, Texas, LSU, and Kentucky tied, or LSU, Texas,
and by the way, I wanted to bring this up because you mentioned this the other night before we get off here. You was talking about the SEC tournament, how they was going to do it this year. Wednesday night. You remember how Wednesday night on the men's there was just 1 game?
Yep. There's 4 games.
There's 4 games this year.
Yep. 9 through 16 play. I found
that out last week. I was going to tell you do it on a show, but there's actually 4 games on Wednesday. So now on Wednesday night, the SEC tournament kicks off in grand style.
So there's actually a double bye. The top 4 teams get a double bye. And then teams 5 through 8 actually get
I want to
a
say
bye.
this, Brad. Kentucky's going to have to win 4 games in 4 days to win the tournament, it looks like.
If they can't get in the top 8, yeah.
I'm talking about men.
The men, yeah.
But I'm going to say this on the men part of it real quick. We got a big stretch coming up. If you can beat Ole Miss tomorrow night and beat South Carolina, you're looking at, what's the record now, 15-6? You're 17-6 going into the Tennessee game, okay? You pull off maybe an upset. Well, not really an upset. You pull off a sweep of Tennessee, okay? You're 18-6 going to Texas. I think you can afford to lose that game. You'd be 18-7 at that point. I think 22 wins gets them a 3 seed or 23. Now, if they get 19 or 20 wins.
22 wins, John, means that we got to win 7 games of our remaining 11.
Yep. That's going to be tough. And Wyman, I'm with you. I think we're a 4 seed when it all boils down to it with the men.
Listen, y'all can say that. And John will tell you, I'm worried about this men's team, to be honest with you. I actually think if we were to continue to play 500 ball, which is what we've played, we're 5-5 in the last 10. If we continue to play 500 ball, and we got 11 games, and we're at 6-5, we're looking at 21-10. And if you don't win in the SEC tournament, and you're 21-11, I just don't see a 4 seed. I really don't. I don't care what their resume is. I think it's a 5 at least, maybe a 6, but it's definitely going to be a 5.
I don't think you're going to go farther down to 7 or 8. Lamont Butler is officially out tomorrow. Wyman said.
Yeah, I think he's out for a couple of weeks, the way I understand.
Yeah, the way me and Trace and us talked about tonight. So,
yeah, Trace.
Big show tomorrow, Brad. Got the big fuss back.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with some pretty good topics tomorrow night. So I've got a few ideas for some pretty good topics tomorrow night.
We'll get to watch the Cats early. They play at 7. So
yeah,
we'll
come on after the Kentucky game. Again.
We'll be either mad or happy after tomorrow. Whichever one.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up and call it a night. But this has been the Big Blue HoopsCast show. This is episode 10 of the Big Blue HoopsCast here at College SportsCast. And we are now presented by Stadium Rant. It has been in the right corner, top right corner of the entire show. And we appreciate them. But we will see you guys tomorrow night for the Big Fuss Show. And we appreciate you guys being with us. Wyman, have a good night. If anybody else is with us, Sarah,
get those tongs ready, Wyman.
Yeah, I'm ready to eat. I can tell you that. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Let's go have some supper because I'm hungry.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
All right, man. Good night, guys.